the sky whenever I pull up those stuff. Pull up those stuff. Pull up those stuff.
Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Leah back again with another video. In today's video, as you can see from the title, we're gonna be talking about tips for solo cruising. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, welcome back. If you're not familiar with my channel, welcome. If you don't know, I took a solo cruise at the end of July and I vlogged that trip. I put that vlog on this channel and that vlog has over 35,000 views at the time of me recording this video, with over 420 comments that you guys have left. And I addressed in that vlog at the very end both my thoughts on Royal Caribbean versus Carnival, my opinions again, and I gave my opinions on solo cruising. But you guys left so many comments that I felt like it was in vain for me just to respond with text and just sit out, because you guys wrote stories. Like, so many of you guys wrote books. Sometimes my comments are just, you know, a little emoji or love the video or blah, blah, blah. But no, y'all put stories upon stories upon stories, and only a response given could be another story in relation to yours. But I decided video format is just so much easier. I'm going to break down everything that I can tell you about solo cruising and my opinions on it. And I have 5 major areas that I'm going to touch on in this video. First of all, thank you guys for saying that this video encouraged you to go solo cruising. But today's video, watch this before you consider it, because again, it might not be for everyone. And I need you to understand that. So many of you guys have been saying in my comments, I'm thinking about going on a solo cruise. This will be my first solo trip. I highly advise that solo cruising not be your first ever dip in the solo travel game. I highly suggest that. I'll give some reasons in this video and you'll hear me out, but warning, if you don't get any further in this video than this first 3 minutes, let it be known that I do not advise as your first foray into the solo travel lifestyle. I've gone on several trips before this cruise. This was not my first solo adventure. The next question I'll get into is a common question I got in my YouTube video. I got a question about it on my YouTube video, but I got a lot of DMs about it because it felt more, I think people felt more comfortable asking about that in a private setting. But I'll read the public comment that I got on my YouTube video if it helped. And this came from my account for commenting. So that's funny. They must have another account for watching. But it said, how did you feel about paying for a solo cruise when it's so much more expensive versus when you have a roommate? I.e., it's not 50% to go along. It's more like 90%. I'm supposed to go on a cruise with a large group, but none of my friends or family are available to room with me. I'm debating whether to go and pay for the solo price and spend a lot of time alone. Also, when you solo travel, do you make friends? And they go on. Again, you guys wrote a lot of good long comments. But financial when it comes to solo cruising, that's the first thing I want you to wrap your head around, because you have to understand, to his point, it's not like you're paying 50% because you're like one person. Like, oh, well, that room would have been $2,000, but because you're one person occupying that space, we're gonna slash it down to $1,000. Or if it's a $1,000 room, oh, we're gonna slash it down to $500 because it's just you. It's just you. No, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, every cruise line wants to pack as many people in a room as possible, because more people in every single room means more people on the ship consuming drinks, getting drink packages. It means more people going on excursions. It means more people buying specialty dining. It means more people in the casinos. It means more people in the shopping center. It means more money for them to have the maximum amount of people on that ship. So to have, if everybody solo cruise, if they had a cruise ship and everybody had one occupant in each of the rooms, that would be a disaster for them. They would not like that. They'd probably be losing money more than they'd be making money. So they are not going to reward you for being one person. And to this person's comment, how did I feel about it? Having gone on several solo trips, I I know that. I've gone to hotel rooms. When I go to a hotel and check into a hotel, it's not cheaper for me being one person. Yes, if I go to the DoubleTree by Hilton and, it's queen size room, I don't go up to the desk and say, hey, it's just me. I know that room was $230 a night, but I'm just one person. And they're never like, oh, okay, it's just you. Let me slash those prices. No, it still costs the same. Electricity is the same. It costs the hotel the same. So for me, I understand pricing when I go into this, and I get the pricing. I don't hold it against these cruise lines. So financially, it's up to an individual person's budget, individual person's lifestyle. Yes, it would have been cheaper for me to be in that room with another person, with 4 other people. Again, cruises want most people in there because more people in that room would mean more money for the cruise lines. But I don't want to be in a room with 3 other individuals. I'm paying for the luxury of being by myself in a balcony room. I also got a comment from Allie, Queen of Travel, that said, how did you get a balcony as a solo cruiser? And I was a little confused by that comment because I didn't know. Again, I'm not as familiar with the cruising. I didn't know. I was like, are they supposed to stop me? Like, was I supposed to get an error message? Nothing was grayed out. When I put in, I'm one solo traveler, and I put in, all my information, it gave me every pick of the litter with rooms. It gave me interior, ocean view, balcony, and suite. It was nothing that I couldn't choose. So I was like, I'm a little confused. Was it supposed to give me an error message or what? And she's like, no, I just watched a lot of cruise vlogs, and a lot of solo travelers always have interiors. And it's probably for that, again, that cost. It's cheaper. It is balcony. They're charging me a premium for that price. So to get into numbers, again, I don't mind sharing financials if it helps you guys out, how much my particular room cost me as a solo traveler. My room was about $1,250, so $1,250 for the space that I got. I got a balcony room as a solo traveler to me. What I liked about that is I could see. It's what I would probably pay if I got a hotel room by myself in the Bahamas somewhere, where I got an added benefit of, one, I get to look out and my scene changes. It's not like with an ocean view room with a balcony at a hotel, you're looking at the same situation the whole time. You're looking ahead and you see the same situation. My view changed as the days went on, the nights went on. I got to see out of it. And so to me, I don't think that was a bad price. Again, I paid that price. If I thought it was terrible, I wouldn't have paid it. And plus, the luxury of a cruise is that you're not paying it all at once. I paid it down every single month. So again, I had a little ticker on my calendar until when I had to pay it off, and I just would pay and make payments on it. Whereas opposed to if I went to a hotel, most of the time, credit card is needed at that time, and you're paying in one full situation for a hotel room. So that is what I paid, to give you a relative idea of what it would be versus a solo traveler and a person with 4 people in the same situation. I looked into the math on this. For 2 guests in my exact same room, I looked up my exact same ship and my exact same room. I stayed in room 8242. I looked up how many, and I chose a different time. So this isn't at the same time that I cruise. This is January at some point where I just chose a random time frame. 2 guests, total price of the room, and this is January again, so a much cheaper time, but it'll help you guys put in perspective the differences between price. It would be $1,037 total price. So splitting that between 2 people, that'd be $518. Now 4 guests, same ship, same time frame, total price would be $1,992, which would be $498. And both of these I chose balcony options. These are both, again, my same room that I stayed in, exact same room, exact same everything. It would have been for 2 guests, you guys would be splitting it $518 each. For 4 guests, you would be splitting at $498 each. I didn't do 3 guests because that just felt like a weird number. And then I went down to 1 guest. 1 guest in that room would have to pay $919.50. So the 2 guests price, how you would be splitting it, the 4 guest price, how you would be splitting it, and then the 1 guest price on how you would be splitting it. Again, the room is the room is the room. The cruise ship don't care whether it's one person in the room, 4 people in the room, or 2 people in the room. They need to make their money. So it doesn't go just because you're one person. You don't pay this price. You don't pay that price. You pay this price. Again, this is not, I didn't pull different numbers. This is the same ship, leaving at the same time, staying in the same equivalent balcony rooms. Again, I didn't pay $919 because I didn't cruise in January. I went in July, which is, a little bit why it was $1,200 versus what it would be at this cruise in January. But that is if you have a balcony room. Now, if you are a solo traveler and you want to be on this same cruise ship and you want to have an interior room, so I just looked it up how it would be if it was one guest in an interior room on the same ship. It would be $548.50. So again, that would be $548 for interior, $919 for balcony. Same ship, leaving at the same time, just different room structures. Again, so I could have gone on my same cruise and paid a lot cheaper, again, to stay in an interior room. I would say roughly that's almost a $400 difference between that. So I could have paid probably $800 to have an interior room, maybe a little bit less. No, right there, probably at $800. I didn't want an interior room. So I didn't want to be, I felt like I would have been boxed in a bit. So that is why I made the decision. Again, for me, it's not for anybody else to say, oh, that's too much or that's too little, because that's their budget. But just go into it knowing it's not cheaper to solo travel. It's darn near more expensive, but it's more expensive if it's solo traveling to a destination. What I feel like I'm paying for is the luxury of myself in my own time, in my own sanity. I got a lot of comments from people saying a lot of cruise ships have solo cabins. A lot of them do. They're making it more and more prevalent. Even Virgin on their sites now has a page. Like if you go to their home page, they call out solo traveling. Like, hey, we have rooms for solo travelers. We encourage it. A lot of cruises now are seeing the market for solo cruisers, and they know that they're charging that premium, and they're realizing, hey, let's entice them a bit. Let's maybe not charge them so much. Now, granted though, I will say a lot of the rooms for the solo cruises that I've seen they're just interior rooms. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I think I've seen one where it has been a balcony. You have a balcony option as a solo traveler, but most of the time it's interior again, which, I mean, they feel so much smaller. They look like they're so much smaller, and I'm like, oh, this is so claustrophobic. I felt like I had so much space in my room. However, eventually one day maybe I'll try it. I'll give it a try. I'll give it a go. So I just wanted to say that because I know I'm going to get comments from people saying, oh, I know a cruise ship that has solo cabins. I know of that too, and I've seen those too. It's just that they still feel tight. They feel very, And it goes into my next point, which is know who you are as a solo traveler. That is more important than the financials. Before you even think about paying for one, you got to know who you are as a solo traveler. For me, I know who I am. I'm not a party girl. I'm not a party girl. I'm not a party animal. Yes, I know it might sound funny and weird, but your girl did a lot in the first couple of years of college. Like, looking back, people who might know me from 2008, 2009, your girl was out here. Girl, Friday to Sunday. But I always joke with people, I partied enough those first 2 years of college to last me my whole lifetime. I'm surprised I graduated on time with what the shenanigans I had going on from 2008 and just to 2010. Just those 2 years. The first 2, I partied for my life. I don't need to have another Four Loko. I don't need to have another thing. I'm a drinker. I'm a social drinker, but I am not here for the turn up. That's who I am as a human. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with the turn up still being in you. But again, it's the left my body because I packed it all in. I got it enough. I got enough of it. And so that's who I am as a person. Also, on the flip side, I am not there to meet new people. Going back to the second part of my account for commenting thing, when you solo travel, do you make friends? I ain't here to make friends, okay? And I know that sounds bad. That's going to sound so harsh, but again, I know who I am as a person. A lot of my comments were like, I loved interacting with the people. I loved meeting new people. I loved when we would go to dinner time, I would get to sit with other solo travelers. To me, that would be a nightmare. And I'll tell you why. It's because my life is so filled with talking to strangers. When I was in college, my last 2 years, I was the university ambassador. What that means is if you've ever toured a college campus, there's those students who walk around and tell you about the campus. NC State's a huge campus. I'm surprised I still got breath in my lungs from now because I would walk families around once a week during the semester. During the summer, you could actually do it more, and it was actually paid during the summer. I wonder if they still do that. I don't know if they still do that. But during the summer, you could get paid, so you could do it more to make money. I'd walk around and talk to hundreds of strangers. You don't know how many people tour a college campus during the summer. A college campus of NC State being the largest university in North Carolina, walking around and telling people about a school. So talking to strangers. That was my life in college. Fast forward to now, I'm a campus recruiter. So I go to college campuses and do the reverse. I talk to college students about what they're going to do after college. I was talking to high schoolers about coming to college. Now my job, what I get paid for every single day, is to talk to college students. Also, when I'm not going to campuses, I still do recruit just normal roles too at times. A lot of engineers, a lot of that. So I talk to strangers on the phone every single day. And I have the, hi, my name is I have to do that. That's part of my life. So when I'm somewhere else, I want to zip it. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. Again, it sounds bad, but I tell you, in high school, I was voted most friendliest. That was my superlative. Most friendliest? Yeah, that's what it was. Friendliest. I'm a person who loves interacting with people. I love it. But there are times when I don't want to. And it's okay. It's totally fine. I've always been a person who can talk. I have the ability to talk. Honey, I'm talking to a camera right now. I can talk. But there's times when it's just time to zip it. Let's keep it on mute. But if you are somebody who wants to interact, that's there for you too on a cruise. But I think people watched my vlog and was like, you didn't really chit chat. I said in the intro of that video, R&R. I think a lot of people missed the intro of the video. I literally said, this is R&R stands for rest and relaxation. Rest and relaxation. You know, halting my vocal cords because we're going into college recruiting season as I speak right now, where I'm going to have to again talk to hundreds of people and put on my voice and say, hi, how are you doing today? And I'm going to have to talk to strangers. I could do it on a cruise ship, or I can just zip it and just, really do it. Not that, again, I'm standoffish. So you have to understand your why for solo traveling. If you feel like loneliness is what's getting you to solo travel, what I always say is the loneliness is going to follow you wherever you go. If you have depression or some kind of sadness and you think that the traveling is going to bring you out of that, it probably won't. It'll probably go with you there. I like on TikTok that I've seen people be more candid about their solo travel where they have said, you know what, this wasn't for me. This wasn't for me, because it's not for everyone. If you're doing it for a purpose of, getting me or bringing me back or bringing me into spirits, it's going to probably make you feel worse. If you're not going there and understanding that, hey, I'm going to be dining alone, I'm going to eat it alone. If you're going there to meet people and have fun and drink and do all that stuff, that's cool too. That might pull you out of any feeling of loneliness or something you have going on in that arena. But I'm telling you, if you're going for the main purposes of this is going to be my pull from this, it might not. So I encourage you to see the other side of the coin. I know my solo vlogs look like, oh, well, she's having so much fun. And again, that's because my personality is I was an only child for 12 years. I didn't get siblings until I was 12, and then I got another one when I was 14. So when I went to college at 18, I had a 6-year-old sister and then a 3-year-old sister. So I had babies. I didn't really go to college and say, bye, my siblings, let's talk about boys. Like I've always had that feeling of, my mom's the only child, so I didn't have a lot of cousins growing up. If I did have cousins, they were far, far away, and they were like second cousins or first cousins once removed, or whatever the case may be. I'm okay. I thrive in that arena. But if you're somebody who grew up in a large family, you're used to talking to people all the time, not talking could be a serious problem. Speaking of the fact that I didn't turn up, some people felt that I wasn't equipped to give my thoughts. Again, my thoughts and my opinions on Royal Caribbean versus Carnival. And so my next point is picking your cruise line. When you've decided you're going to go on a solo cruise, picking your cruise line. Again, in my video, I gave my honest thoughts on Royal Caribbean versus what I had been seeing. And I got a comment from somebody specifically who said, really? Freedom of the Seas is a 16-year-old ship. If you're comparing a 16-year-old Carnival ship, okay, but I'm not going to compare a 2020 Cadillac to a 2006 Mercedes. It doesn't make sense. And I went back and I was like, when did I compare a newest ship of Carnival to what I was on? If you watch my comparison video, I was comparing my experience to just my past Carnival experiences. I've been on some old Carnival ships too. So I could see your point. In my comment back, I said, I could see your point if I said I was on the new 2022 Carnival Mardi Gras recently, and it was nothing like my experience on the Freedom of the Seas, which is 16 years old. No, I was comparing apples to apples in terms of year. If you call my 2019 cruise vlog, that was the newest Carnival ship I had ever been on. It was the Carnival Conquest. Looking it up, it was made in 2002. Freedom of the Seas was created in 2006, or first launched. I think, it takes years to build the ship, but first put to sea 2002 for Carnival Conquest, 2006 to Royal Caribbean Freedom of the Seas, which I was on. So was really comparing to, if anything, the Carnival Conquest was an older ship. I've never been on any Carnival cruise that's newer, but again, like I said in that video, I'm in Black Cruise Group. I think that's the name of it on Facebook. I've been a part of that group for over 3 years now, and I'm not always in it, but on your not For You page. I'm on TikTok so much. On your whole page on Facebook, you just see so much comes up. It comes from your friends, but it also comes from the groups you're in. And I just saw so much dialogue about how great and wonderful Royal Caribbean was. It was that girl when it came to the ships, that I just thought across the board, my mind thought any Royal Caribbean ship that you get on is going to be better than any Carnival ship that you get on, point blank period. It's almost like that Honda Toyota argument where everybody says Honda is a good car, period. Mwah, chef's kiss. So if I got in a 2002 Honda Civic and a 2002 Subaru or a 2002 Ford Focus, I would be in better hands with that Honda Civic, even though it's an old car. Hondas are Hondas. Toyota Camrys are Toyota Camrys. Like those Volvos, those upper cars that people hype up. My thought is, even if I'm in a 2002 Honda Civic and I was in a 2008 Subaru or Ford Focus, that Honda Civic still gonna whoop tail. It's still gonna whoop. It's still a better experience because that's what it's always been. It's always been portrayed as Royal Caribbean. It's never been Royal Caribbean Oasis specifically. Like the groups never say Oasis specifically. A lot of you guys in my comments said, you gotta go on Oasis. You gotta go on Oasis. Oasis. And I hear you. Next time, I will never get on a Carnival ship again unless it's Oasis. I can promise you that. It has to be Oasis because you guys have hyped it up, but they were never clear in the specific line. It was always Royal Caribbean. So I thought if I stick my fanny in any Royal Caribbean ship, it's going to blow past Carnival. And the difference I did also feel was felt like there was more kids on Carnival. Kids. There were kids on Royal Caribbean too, but the kids felt younger on Carnival than they felt on Royal Caribbean for sure. And I liked that. I like that aspect. As somebody who does not have children right now, not to say I want to be around them little crumb snatchers, but I definitely feel like I prefer experience where there are less children. And again, the price point is cheaper on Carnival, so you can feel like, okay, I can bring my 6-year-old versus I might reconsider bringing my 6-year-old if I'm paying a little bit extra when it comes to the money department for them. So I get it, but my thought was I need to be feeling something a little bit different for this money. So my next cruises, whether solo or not, I definitely want to be Norwegian or Virgin. I got so many comments, Virgin and Norwegian. I even was in Facebook yesterday. And again, my group just came up, the Black Cruise group just came up, and the thing said, what was it? Let me see if I screenshot it. It said, Virgin Cruise Lines, thank me later, no other ships compare. Now, again, if I get on that Virgin ship, and then, again, there's no distinction on which Virgin ship. It said Virgin Cruise Lines, just like how it used to say Royal Caribbean is better. if there's a certain class of virgin that I need to go on, then this comment ain't clear. And if I get on the worst of the virgins, then you guys can't be in my comments being like, no, they was talking about Virgin Miracle of the Seas, child. You went on the wrong one. Like, I better be able to go on any virgin and have a great experience. I do want to experience Virgin. I do want to experience Norwegian. So those might be my next two. Again, I just want to have a well-rounded picture for my next time I make a comparison video like this. Again, Norwegian, hearing that they have a solo cruise director, that's cool. I love that. I know Virgin has solo cabins, as well as I know some, not all, Norwegian have those solo cabins as well. So the next major point, I got this question a lot. I get this question all the time, and I think I just have a more concerned audience. But I got this question. Maybe I missed this portion of the video, but I want to cruise solo, but I'm concerned about boat safety for a solo female traveler. Thoughts? So safety concerns. I get that all the time for any of my solos. This doesn't even just mean a cruise. I get concerns from people when I go to New York, Chicago, when I've been to LA, when I've been to any of the solo places I've been, especially Chicago and New York. I get concerns from people. Oh my God, what? How? I could never. Maybe it's because I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I probably have a greater chance of something happening to me if I just walk down the wrong side of the street. I mean, there are first 48 episodes about Charlotte based in Charlotte. There's snapped episodes where things have taken place in Charlotte. Charlotte ain't necessarily Pleasantville when it comes to life. I would feel so bad if fear kept me from leaving this city and something happened to me here in my hometown. I was like, I never left home. I never went anywhere. And then something happens to me at home. Statistically, I looked this up. Statistically, 53% of deaths, your chances of dying, 53% of people. So if 100 people, 53 of them die at home, in your home. Deaths happen at home. I think it's 82 or 83% of people. 83% of people die within 50-mile radiuses of their homes. The chances of something happening to you are greater where you are than if you were to go to another place. I got a lot of, New York's so dangerous. New York doesn't even crack the top 10. I think even the top 15 of most dangerous places in the city. A lot of people get their information from just TV or Law and Order SVU. We love Olivia Benson, but living in reality, I've been to New York 4 times now in my life. If I, went down the dangerous neighborhood that looks shady at night with all my belongings out, yes, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation, but you just don't put yourself in a dangerous situation. Again, most cruise deaths that I've heard that make national news or that I've just seen have all been, and always for the most part have been, at the hands of a, honeymoon spouse. You've seen those stories. Honeymoon couple, husband falls overboard mysteriously right on the honeymoon, and then come to find out the wife did it, or vice versa. A wife just falls off and then come to find out the husband do it. I feel like I have more chances of something bad and unsavory happening to me if I honeymoon on a cruise ship. If I get married, you can guess I'm not going on a cruise ship, because honey, the way they be talking. I also saw a story, was it a few years ago, where the grandfather was holding his daughter outside of the window of a cruise. Or maybe he didn't realize what was going on, but he was holding the child out and he let go and she fell. I think that happened in like 2018, 2019. It's fairly recent of a story that I remember hearing about, because that's not something that you hear normal stories about. Things have happened on a cruise ship, but I promise you, I didn't feel unsafe. Like, nothing felt unsafe. Everybody on that cruise ship paid it. It was not like I'm walking down the streets of New York where I could never find out if anything happened. Everybody who's on that ship is marked for, accounted for. They have a set sail pass. I know their name, their information, their room number. If anything were to ever happen, we're not all strangers on a ship that we didn't confirm. We had to pay hundreds of dollars to get on the ship. We have everybody's name, crew and staff and passenger are accounted for. If I get mugged in New York or Chicago, something happened to me and they run off, how am I ever find that person again? I don't know that person. We're in a concealed area, a concealed space where none of my trips have I felt that my safety was impacted. It's just about being familiar with your space. So my boat safety, and I guess if you're like, well, I'm not talking about just deaths, I'm talking about like harassment or abuse. Also, I didn't feel, being familiar with who's walking down the aisles behind me. It was a lot of, again, if there were men or women, a lot of people were coupled up. I mean, honestly, it was a lot of families, like if my husband and wife. So I didn't see a lot of men who appeared to be single. If it was a group of guys, maybe they were with like other guys. It honestly felt very family, if anything. So when it comes to safety, I'm surprised that it would come up on a cruise ship more than it comes up in my other vlogs, quite honestly, because if there was ever a place I felt the most safe, it was probably on this ship. And the last point that I want to bring up is other people's perceptions of solo cruising. That's the thing that has me saying that maybe going on a solo cruise isn't your first foyer into the solo lifestyle. It might not be your first dip in the toe. Go somewhere like my first, I think, was Asheville. Well, I go for work. I've solo traveled for work to like Knoxville and Wisconsin and places like that. But my first for leisure, for me, for not like I'm going to a career fair, I'm going to things like that. And this was my first me trip was Asheville. I live in a place where 3 hours away from me is Asheville, or I can go to Charleston, or I can drive a little bit down further than Charleston, when like 3 hours, 30 minutes to go to Savannah. Like I'm near a lot of places that are very good, just relaxation, solo travel places. I'm an R&R solo traveler type person. If you're a turn up person, I don't know, I guess you could go to Vegas. I don't know where your first foray would be, but go to something small, start small. Cruising just isn't your first. I don't think you're going to have the experience that you're going to want to have because, like I said, it is a lot more eyes on you than if it were just going to a destination. When I went to Key West, I go to restaurants and it would be no problem because I never see those people again and it's never a reoccurrence of the same faces. So I could go here, I could go there. New York is a very solo heavy city. Like so many people just live and work in New York that it's not uncommon to see somebody by themselves. It's like you don't see hordes of people. This isn't like, I think Sex and the City has people confused that they think people walk in foursomes down the street. People have their headphones in and are just walking down the street, not minding no business, not caring about, is that girl solo traveling? What's going on with her? Same thing in Chicago. It's just a city where everybody I saw was by themselves. If I saw multiple people, then I knew they were tourists. Like the thing that called out tourists more to me in some of these cities was groups of people. It was like, yeah, they here. I mean, the cameras and everything else they had going on. But if I saw somebody by themselves, it wasn't strange in some of these places because being by yourself and just walking because you have to go to work or you have to go here, you call yourself out more in some of these cities being in a pack of people than being by yourself, if that makes sense. But on a cruise, it is kind of all eyes on you when it comes to solo traveling. And if you feel uneasy about it, that's why I say maybe not start there, because if you're like, why is everybody looking at me? Again, I shared my experiences. I was in a restaurant and a guy was like, okay, I'm trying to be like you. Pull the table. It was a guy and his family, his husband, wife, 2 daughters. Pull the table. No. And again, I don't want to be standoffish. I could have pulled the table close and then I could have had a conversation with, a husband, wife, and their children, but that's not why I went on the cruise. I can talk to strangers, but sometimes I don't want to. I want to not speak. So it's more weird to other people on the cruise because, again, people are probably questioning. That guy was like, what you do for a living? I'm trying to be like you, my girl. What do you do to be a solo black woman on this trip? What do you do? It's a question. Sometimes I don't mind the question because I feel like it comes from a good place. Sometimes I haven't been asked again often, but I do see how to some people, I got some questions that people were turned off by that comment, or that people would assume a black woman or solo traveling. What do you do? There's no read you could afford this. And I get that point of view too. Like if this guy was on a ship solo cruising or anywhere solo, just living his life, going to Cabo or anywhere, would you question him or would you question this guy? If you just saw him, would you walk up to him and say, what do you do, sir? What do you do? Or would you walk up to a woman who, what do you do? What do you specifically do? I do know the microaggression that can be of the thought of what, how, what, huh? Brain's not computing. But if you wouldn't ask this person the same question, if you would feel as comfortable walking up to this man and saying, what do you do to be on this beach or by yourself, then don't feel comfortable asking me. Don't even ask me. We know when it's coming from a genuine knowledge seeking place and when it's coming from a microaggression. It's unbelievable space. I'm not off of solo traveling by cruise, but I do think that you're gonna have to definitely be confident, a little bit more confident. You guys know I have more coming this year in 2022, and then even more coming in 2023. So if you want to be locked in, tuned in, and subscribed to see that, make sure you click that subscribe button, have that notification bell on too, so you can be notified as soon as I upload them videos. And then make sure that you're following me on Instagram at Lavon89 so you can keep up with my shenanigans in real time. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Steady on time, yeah, don't be late, nah. Said I'm in love.